Welcome to an introduction to Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central Financial Reporting. Our agenda today is we're going to just do an overview of how to create and generate financial reports in Business Central. We're also going to look at Excel reports. We're going to look at adding analysis views to our financial reports, and able to really expand out the number of dimensions that we're going to be reporting on. And then we're going to finish with analyzing the data. So this is a new feature, relatively new to Business Central, and we're going to show you how we can use that to not only look at some of our financial data, but also look at other data in the system. Real quick, a little bit about Boyer. We were the 2023 Microsoft US Partner of the Year Award, something we were very proud of. We were founded in 1994. We're headquartered in Minnesota. However, we are definitely a national company. We have consultants in every time zone across the US, including some offshore resources. We've got over 440 active clients nationwide. We've been named one of the top 5% of Microsoft partners migrating clients to the cloud. And 1 out of every 5 of our clients is a nonprofit organization. So that is something that we really like to focus on, is our nonprofit industry. So with that, I'm just going to hop right into the demonstration. So I'll go ahead and flip over to Business Central here. And so with financial reports, I'm just going to go ahead and navigate into my financial reporting section here. What you see with financial reports is this is really where I can really kind of create and design my report. So with financial reports, what we essentially do is we're going to take a row definition and we're going to create a column definition. We're going to tie those two components together to create our report layout. So real quick, I'll just show you what a finished output of that report looks like, and then we're going to show how we actually create some of these building blocks. So I'm just going to go ahead and look at an income statement. I'm going to click View Financial Reports. Let me go ahead and just collapse these options down. So there's what my report, my finished product is going to look like. So I've got my income or my revenue accounts up top. Got some of my expenses down here. I am able to drill down on any of these balances. So if I want to further look at that information, I can go ahead and drill down. It's going to show me the GL accounts making up this amount. I can drill down on that net change, and then I actually see now all the detailed transactions making up that account. And as we've looked at other sessions, I do then have the ability to export that data out to Excel. So how do we get to there? So let me just go ahead and back all the way out. And I'm going to take a new column. I've actually got one started, but I'm going to modify an existing column or a column and a row to kind of show you how we get these building blocks started. So I'm just going to go ahead and search, click on the search icon here. I'm going to go to my row definitions. So go ahead and go into this list here. Here's where all my row definitions are. And this is one that I've got started. So I'm going to go ahead and edit this income statement row. So I'll just go ahead and click Edit Row Statement. So here's my row layout. So this is really all I'm doing to set up my row. I'm just defining what account numbers do I want. So I've got my income section in here. I've got my cost of goods sold, my expenses. You can see I am able to do formulas like gross profit. What I'm going to take is my row F9, which is my total income, and I'm going to add in my cost of goods sold, which is my F16. So the reason why I add is that this income is going to show kind of as a negative number. So I'm going to take a negative number and add a positive number into it, which is going to give me that gross profit. So I'm going to finish this row layout out. I need to put my account numbers in here. I could go ahead and click on this looking glass and go look for my income if I wanted to. There's that first account that I want here, this 4,100, drop that in. I can also just type in here as well if I know what the accounts are. I can put that account number in. You know, maybe I want to do this off of account categories as well. I could. So if I don't want to have to sit here and pick account after account after account, I could just do my account category and go ahead and put all of my income services into one row. Again, with that drill down, if I had multiple accounts assigned to this income services, I would be able to see the details behind there. But I do want to just keep this as posting accounts. I want it somewhat detailed. So go ahead and add a couple others in here. Get my returns. And this contra account, I actually don't want to report on this one, so I'm going to go ahead and highlight that row and just delete this out. We'll take out that contra account. So because these accounts are revenue, they're going to typically carry a credit balance. Well, I don't want to see negative revenue on my income statement. That's going to cause a lot of questions. So I'm going to go ahead and check this box to reverse the sign on this. This is a way for me to be able to display these balances as a positive number. So I'll go ahead and mark that. But again, in here, you can see I can have section headers, section totals. I have some options on here as to how I want to format some of this information. This is looking good, though. This is what I want to see. Maybe like income jobs here. That's not the description I want. I just want this to be income other, something like that. So I do have the ability to change the description on these row layouts. So that looks great. We're going to head and save that and go on to my column layouts. So I'm going to go ahead and do let me just show you this existing column layout here. I'll just go ahead and edit this column definition. And this is all the column layout in this example is doing. So again, now the columns are defining what type of data do I want. So in this case, I just want to see my balance for this entry. Once we generate the reports, you're actually going to see how I can toggle. Do I want to see daily balance, a weekly balance, monthly, quarter, year-to-date balance? So that's why it's pretty generic. But what if I actually want to compare amounts? So I want to look at current month and year-to-date. So I can certainly do that. And I'm going to go ahead and set up a new column layout to track that information. So I'm just going to call it current year-to-date, current period, and year-to-date. Go ahead and say OK. So all I'm going to do in here is have this be my current month. I'll set that, leave that at net change, and this is going to be my year-to-date numbers. So the column type, I'm going to switch that over to year-to-date. So you can see some of the options you have here. You can do beginning balances. You can look at net change. And with the formulas in here, I could actually have that maybe be a quarterly net change, or maybe I want to do a rolling 3 months or a rolling 5 months. I can use those formulas to add months or subtract months back from my reporting date. But this is what I want to see here, just current month, year to date. One thing to note, I actually do have the ability to filter on my dimensions. So one of my dimensions I have set up here is departments. If I actually want to do a side-by-side comparison, I could just go ahead and filter in these dimensions, and I could actually see my departments side by side. I'd have to add more columns in, but I'd be able to handle that. One thing is, if you are going to try to do this and you're not seeing these columns, you may need to go in and personalize and add those fields onto this layout here. So those additional dimension fields might be hidden and you need to pull them into here. But that's what I want to see, just that current year to date. So I'm going to go ahead and set up a new report now. So I'll just go ahead and do new. We'll just call this my training income statement. I'm going to go ahead and grab that income statement row that I created. That row, I want my current and year-to-date column layout on here. And now I'm just going to go ahead and generate. So I'll go ahead and view the financial report. I want to look at my current month numbers. And let's actually look at my year numbers. There we go. Let me move this to be my monthly numbers. And my data, I've actually got more data here in March. Do that. So there I've got my current month numbers pulling in. Actually, looks like I've got an issue here with my year-to-date column. So my year-to-date numbers are not quite pulling in the way I want to see it. So let me go ahead and take a look at that column layout. And here's the mistake I made is I left that at net change. So I do need to toggle that over to year-to-date again in order to get those year-to-date numbers to pull in. So I'll make that change. It's going to save right away for me. Go ahead and view this financial report. It's going to hold that March date. So now you can see I've got my March numbers in my first column, my year-to-date numbers in my second column. If I want to see this again a little bit more, I can hide those options, but I'll go ahead and expand that out. Here's where I've actually got my dimension filtering here. So if I did want to run this for a specific department, for example, maybe I want to look at administration, I'd be able to select that. It looks like I don't have any data there, but I would be able to filter to that specific department. This is where you can actually see, I'll go ahead and expand and show more. I've only got my first two global dimensions listed here. So what do you do if you actually want to be able to filter on multiple dimensions? So if I go and pop up into my general ledger setup here, you can actually see I've got two shortcut dimensions. I've got area and I've got projects. Well, I want to be able to report on those as well. How do I do that? That's where we start adding an analysis view to our report. So if I go ahead and I'll just back out of here, I'm going to go into my analysis view. They are. So here's where I can actually set up now the different dimensions that I want to report on. So I'll just go ahead and do a new one. And we'll just call it area and project. Area and project. And now I can pick those additional dimensions that I want to filter on. So I want to go ahead and grab my areas. I want to grab my project numbers. And I actually want to throw department in here as well. I might be interested in filtering to department. So I'll go ahead and grab those. Now I'll go ahead and update this dimension. So what this is now going to do is actually grab those GL data and it's going to roll it into this analysis view. You can see I do have the ability to automatically update this upon posting. Depending on your transactional volume, you may or may not want to do that. Rather, you may just want to update this like weekly, maybe on a Sunday when volume is low on the system. You may want to update these views. That way that view is ready then for the prior week's data, or you can do it daily. You can do it nightly if you wanted to. But if this is a high use report, something you are running daily, by all means, you certainly can do that and enable update on posting. But I'll just go ahead and update these numbers. Now let me go back into my financial report here. Go back into my financial reports. There's my training income statement. I'm going to go ahead and just edit this list. And now I can associate that new area and project analysis view here. So now if I go ahead and view this financial report, you can see those additional dimensions now are available. So if I do want to filter this down to my Americas, I want to look at a specific project, I can grab that. And then if I want to look at a department as well, I can further view that data. The other thing too with these financial reports is if I want to just quickly change, how am I looking at my data? Maybe I actually do want to see actual and budget numbers, or I want to look at my periods across different months here. So here's kind of that rolling 3 months. I can actually change this on the fly here, and my report is automatically going to adjust. Even the rollout, if I want to change my rollout, adjust it on the fly, I certainly can. With these reports, I do have the ability to export this data to Excel. I also can just print this report out as well. So if I want a hard copy of it, I can print it. With all Business Central reports, if I do want to export this out to Excel, I can certainly export it out to Excel. Click on that financial report option here, and we'll open up that data in an Excel file. So another option with Excel reports, if I actually come back to my home page, because I am set up as the business manager, I actually have this Excel reports icon right on my home page. These are actually some predefined reports that will automatically run in Excel. So for example, I've got an income statement. If I go ahead and launch that income statement, I can open it up. One thing you're going to see, I'll go ahead and do it. We're going to get an error message here. So if I hit enable editing, I'm going to get a warning message because there is a macro running in this Excel file in order to render that data. So I do need to trust this file first in order for this report to run. So I'm just going to go ahead and come into my downloaded files here. There's that income statement. I'm going to go into my properties, and I'm just going to go ahead and unblock the security here. So this is basically saying, yes, I trust this file. So I'll go ahead and apply that change. Launch this income statement, hit enable content. What you're now going to see is it's going to go ahead and authenticate my user. Does my user, Eric Vigasa, have rights to see this data? Once that authenticates, now I've got my income statement right away in Excel. So you don't have to always go and do that download, unblock, run the report. If I want to run my balance sheet right in an Excel file, I'll go ahead and do that. So I've already downloaded, I've already set up those changes on it. So I'm just going to come to my report layouts and here's my balance sheet. So all I have to do now is just launch my file from here, run this content. I've already accepted those macros, and now it's just going to automatically refresh this data for me. So as soon as I open up this Excel file, it's going to pull based off of my system date those updated numbers for me. So again, just another way that I can get my data into an Excel file, and some of my raw data does sit here. So this is kind of what it's generating. Again, if I want to use this raw data to do any other kind of analysis on it, I certainly have that ability. So finally, the last thing I want to show you is kind of that analyze view here. So I'm going to go ahead and run this financial report again that I just created. Do this training income statement. Let me hide these options. And I want to look at my, we'll look at my income here. So I'm going to go ahead and drill down on this income. I'm going to drill down on my actual values here. And so now you can actually see I'm in one of these list views where I've got this analyze button. So you're going to see this analyze button really in any view in Business Central. So once I toggle on that analyze button, what it's actually going to do is let me now create views off of this data. So if I want to do it here, I certainly can, but I actually want to go back and now and look at all of my GL data and do some analysis on it. I don't want to look at just kind of this specific account number. So I'm going to back out of here. Let's go into my general ledger entries right here. So this is all of my GL data sitting in here. So I want to basically do some pivots on this data. So if I go ahead and go into analyze mode, you can see what it's now doing is basically giving me what looks like an Excel pivot table on here. So I can now choose, I want to go ahead and take my account numbers. I want to group by account numbers, and I want to see amounts by month. And in fact, I actually want to break it out by year as well. I want to drill down even farther. So we'll do it by year, by month. So now you can see my account numbers listed up here. I can click on an account number, shows me my different years of data. Click on a year, I can see the months. I can drill down even farther. I want to take this a step further. I actually want to see this by departments as well. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my department code. I'm going to create that as one of my groups. So now I can see my different departments. And I really only care about expenses as well. So I don't really care about this balance sheet. So I'm going to do a filter on here. I'm going to go look at my GL account number, and I'm going to say I'm going to go ahead and just select my expenses on here. So I'll grab all my different expense accounts. And so now when I look at these different departments, all I'm seeing is my expenses. Again, I can drill down, see my years, see my months, and see my total transactions. So I'm going to save this as, I can do expense by department. And when I save that, now I've always got this tab up here. So I can add multiple tabs, build out this analysis data the way I want to see it. And with this analysis data, I can always export this out to Excel file as well. So again, I've got flexibility as to what information do I want to see, how do I want to filter that and view that information. And again, this is not limited to GL data. If I'm actually going to go look at my payables data, let me just go into some posted purchase invoices here, for example. I've got the same thing. I've got that little analysis toggle. Once I toggle it, I've got all my different values here that I can now create my groupings and do some of that drill down analysis. So with that, I hope this kind of helped understand how financial reporting in Business Central can work. We've got some links here. If you want some more information, you can go visit our Boyer and Associate website. You can go to Microsoft's website as well and get an overview of Business Central. And if you have any additional questions or want some follow-ups, please feel free to email us at info@boyerassociates.com. Hope this was helpful. Thank you for watching, and enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.